morning. Welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation with me, your host Owen James, the channel that brings you your Rangers news, guys. We are going to talk next season, basically. You know, look, I think, I'm not writing. Well, I am writing this season. I think we've all kind of written this season off to some degree. I did see a hilarious take on one of the social media platform the other week, which was Rangers' remaining fixtures, which was go shopping, do the garden, paint the spare room, clean the toilets. Go and see the mother-in-law. I think that was quite funny. That was quite funny, and I think that's probably what a lot of Rangers fans will be doing between now and the end of the season. I think, you know, there's kind of a disregard for the games that are left. You know, I suppose the only game that kind of has anything riding on it and that matters to any sort of way, shape or form between now and the end of the season is the Old Firm game at Ibrox. Our chance to obviously beat them again and beat them 3 times out of 4. I know they win the league, but you know what? It's about a tone set, isn't it? It's about kind of setting the tone, laying down the marker, drawing the line. You know, just kind of giving them that bit of a bloody nose just to finish off the season with. So hopefully, you know, that's something that can be achieved. But look, I mean, let's talk players, shall we? You know, so look, we've kind of already started building for next season. I mean, we don't know obviously who the new manager is going to be. We know of course now that Kevin Thelwell is the new sporting director. You know, and like I said on the video yesterday that I released, you know, we don't really know what Thelwell's role will now take on in terms of will Niels Coppen still have a role at the club, or will he kind of be demoted, or will he be kind of got rid of? To what extent will Patrick Stewart now have a say? I mean, personally, I'd sack Patrick Stewart tomorrow. I think the guy is a absolute woke disgrace. I personally, would definitely sack him and get someone else in. Hopefully someone that Parag Marath or Andrew Kavanagh can find and appoint. I'm sure they've got some very good candidates within the 49ers organisation, or even working for his healthcare company. But look, I mean, like I said, we don't know what Thelwell's remit will be. Certainly, I think, you know, if you look at his past history, he is very much a player recruitment guy. He is a player development guy. So, you know, you're going to look at him taking that overarching role in terms of looking at how to recruit the best players possible, looking at what markets we can look in, you know, using the scouting team, and then obviously as well developing the academy to bring players through the academy. And we've got news of a possible departure of one of Rangers' very talented young players, which is not good at all. At the end of the video, so please hang on for that. But you know, look, we know that's obviously the one appointment that's been made. We still don't know who the manager's going to be. You know, I think that I've seen some pretty wild takes on social media again, and I know social media is a pretty poisonous place, you know, because of the fact that you've got that situation where people just, you know, make stuff up, and you've got people who claim to be insiders, claim to be ITK in the know, and actually know jack shit about stuff. You've also got some fans with some very wild takes on things. But, you know, I mean, somebody was suggesting the other day that Thelwell will come in and the first thing he'll do is appoint Sean Dyche as manager, which, look, I really don't want Sean Dyche. I genuinely don't. I mean, if you think that the football we played under Philippe Clement was turgid and boring, wait till you see Sean Dyche's football. It is genuinely would put you to sleep. Although I would take Sean Dyche as manager over Barry Ferguson. But, you know, look, I think that's just a load of rubbish. I don't think that one there's anything in that one. I don't think that one's got legs. I think that's purely people just putting 2 and 2 together and coming up with 12, which is just completely random. However, look, you know, we don't know who the next manager is going to be. We do know, of course, that we have made we've kind of made 2 signings ahead of next season. Obviously, the Oscar Cortez situation, which, as a lot of people have joked, you know, let's hope we can find some sort of get out clause in the contract, because he certainly is not, you know, worth £4.5 million, especially as he's been most of the time since he's arrived at the club. He's spent on the treatment table. He's probably cost us about £4.5 million in medical bills. But you know, certainly that's something to sort of consider. So, you know, perhaps, break him up and sell him for parts. Maybe we might get £4.5 million back that way. I don't know. But obviously, one person we have, Lyle Cameron from Dundee. He will be arriving at the start of at the end of the season, once he's out of contract with Dundee, which I think is May-June time. Lyle Cameron obviously has been an important part of Dundee's squad, although he has missed a number of games with injury. Yes, well, let's face it, he's joining Rangers. Of course, he's going to start suffering from injuries. It's almost a curse, isn't it? You know, you get associated with Rangers, you get an injury. But no, in this season, he's done well. 28 appearances, 5 goals, 4 assists. That's 9 goal contributions in 28. He's played 82% of the starting 11, 78% of the minutes, had an 18% goal participation rate. in the SPL. He's played 6 times in the League Cup, 3 goals, 3 appearances, 6 goal contributions in 6, which, in a Dundee team that has struggled this season is certainly noteworthy. In the SFA Cup, he's made 2 appearances, 2 goals, 1 assist, 3 in 2. Pretty impressive, especially when you consider he's only played 60% of the minutes this season in the SFA Cup. His figures for this season are fairly impressive from a midfielder, and he certainly will bring something that Rangers midfielders don't often give, which is chipping in with double-figure goals from midfield. He's got 10 goals in 36 games this season, 8 assists, that's 18 goal contributions in 36, so basically 1 in 2, which is pretty good. A goal every 295 minutes for those of you who are keeping count. So, he is one person, and like I said, I think he'll be a good signing. He can play central midfield, he can play attacking midfield, he can play right midfield. He's certainly got that flexibility. And I think he'll be a better all-round player than Connor Barron, who's done reasonably well this season as well. And it gives us something I think we've been lacking, which is a bit of more Scottish grit and Scottish core to the team. It will be, I suppose, if we play Raskin, Lyle Cameron and Connor Barron in midfield, we will have the world's smallest midfield. It will look like something from Middle-earth, look like a Hobbit day outing. But, Lyle Cameron, for me, I think is a very talented player, a very good footballer, and, certainly encouraging, and, I'm welcome him to the club, I really do. Now, another player we've been linked with very recently is a right back from Dundee. That is this man here, Josh Mulligan. He is Dundee's right back, and again, he is another one who is out of contract at the end of the season. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why are we talking freebies, Owen? We're going to have some money. We should be spending money. Yeah, I agree. We should be spending money, and we will, I believe, spend money this coming off season. However, you've got to still supplement those purchases with frees and other transfers you can get in, bring in the maximum number of good footballers, and obviously use your money, use your contracts, use your wages and your signing on fees wisely. And I think, that's something that Josh Mulligan would certainly represent. It's sort of value for money. He's out of contract on May the 31st, 2025. So again, he would be a free. There may be, I suppose, a compensation fee to pay for him, maybe. He can play right midfield, he can play right back, he can play central midfield. So again, he's one of those hybrid players that, that is very much liked in terms of, that's the modern thing, isn't it? It is... It is the thing, isn't it? That's what we want. We want these hybrid players. Sterling obviously being the ultimate hybrid player, played centre midfield, played right wing, played left wing, left back, right back, centre back. It was even joked at one point he'd take the CEO's job on a base after he'd finished training. But Josh Mulligan, is someone who is a very talented young footballer and someone who has caught the eye for Dundee this season. Now, he started his career with Dundee under 18s. He went on loan to Cove Rangers. He then came through the system, played for Dundee, then went to Peterhead on loan. Had 2 loan spells at Peterhead, but has broken into the first team this season. He's made in total 36 appearances and had 5 assists from right back. So certainly not James Tavernier numbers, but he is, like I said, he's a right midfielder. He's also a right back. He can play in both those positions. Again, flexibility of positions. A good footballer, a very talented footballer. I suppose can play right wing back as well. Now, he has obviously not yet taken a new contract with Dundee, and I think he's looking to move on, looking to move elsewhere. Now, obviously, if that is the case, then Rangers are reportedly interested in him, which I think would be a very good move for the club. Again, another good young Scottish talent, and right back is a position we need to address, and if we can get someone in like Josh Mulligan on a free, obviously have him, do John Sterling, hopefully get rid of James Tavernier. Although I did see someone rather humorously write on X the other day that he would come in and he'd learn from James Tavernier, to which somebody commented, what will he learn? How to lose, how to be disappointed, and how to learn not learn from his mistakes. I suppose that's play Tavernier bingo. But look, he would definitely be a player I'd want to add. I think he would add something to the team. I think he's a good footballer, a good young player. And again, he's a Scottish player. And I think, the more Scottish talent we have in the team, as we've seen, in the past, when Walter Smith had that Scottish core to his team, the team did really well, didn't it? It kicked on. We got to a UEFA Cup final. Most of Walter Smith's success, obviously won championships 9 in a row. He was a man who liked his Scottish talent. And like I say, if you look at those teams that were successful, those teams that won things, they had a very big core of Scottish talent within the squad. Now, obviously, that would give us, John Souttar, who's obviously likely to be there next season, Josh Mulligan, Lyle Cameron, Conor Barron. So you've got, 4 or 5 players there who are Scottish, and I think that is very important for Rangers. And again, you've got people then who understand the league, who understand how to play in the league, who understand the Rangers situation, who understand how the teams think about Rangers. So for me, Josh Mulligan, I think, would be a very sensible person to try and bring in, obviously on a free transfer. Now, obviously moving on, there is this desire to set in the trading model. That's the big thing, isn't it? That we want this trading model in place. And, whilst we want this trading model in place, we do obviously want to hang on to our good young players and bring them through and obviously see them, obviously there. But look, one player that we are on the verge of reportedly losing is Oliver Goodbrand, who is a striker for the club. Apparently we are likely to lose him to Newcastle United. Now this is always the big concern, isn't it? That Premier League clubs come in sniffing. Premier League clubs have money, they have the pull of the English Premier League, and they can attract any young player. Apparently he can now sign professional terms for with Rangers, but we look set to lose him. He's 16 years old. He's risen through the ranks at Rangers, made his B team debut last season at the age of only 15. He's a defender, actually, not a striker, so my fault, I misread that. He's captained Scotland at youth level, wearing the armband during the Under-16s Victory Shield campaign, but apparently he is on Newcastle's wish list. And now, he would obviously lead to Newcastle having to pay a compensation fee to Rangers. How much that would be, I don't know. It's not going to be a massive amount of money. It's a worry, isn't it? It's a concern, losing these players. And yeah, I get, the whole situation with, wanting to keep your best players and wanting to sell on young players to make money, but still, you want to see these young players at least come through and at least get into the team, at least have an opportunity to play in the team. But obviously, we won't get to see that with Oliver Goodbrand. It looks like he will be off to Newcastle in the summer, which is terrible, isn't it? It's not good, is it? It really is not good at all. There we go. According to, let me just sort of finishing off on the manager hunt. Jose Mourinho, I don't know how the hell he is second favourite for the job with Rangers. I genuinely don't see him coming to Rangers. I don't think we can pay his wages. I think he'd want more money than the 25 million that's been reported that the 49ers will put in. He's not a manager who spends a little, isn't he? He's a manager who spends a lot, or who insists that the club spend a lot. All the talk is that he will go to the Premier League in the summer. That is the talk. That he will then go back to some sort of job in England. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. That seems to be the gossip that is certainly going round. If it happened, there's even mischievous reports this today, about Mourinho going to Celtic if Brendan Rodgers goes to take the Tottenham job, if Postecoglou goes. There's even talk of Postecoglou going back to Celtic as well. But Postecoglou's been a disaster, hasn't he, at Spurs? He really has. And again, there's so many worrying reports around Sean Dyche and him linking him to the Rangers job. And look, all joking aside, joking about, the fact that he plays boring football. Sean Dyche is not someone who I would want to see at Rangers. He genuinely isn't. He genuinely isn't. I get why these links are happening because of the Kevin Thelwell thing, and it was Thelwell obviously who was behind the Dyche appointment, to obviously keep him in, to sort of try and keep Everton in the Premier League, which obviously he succeeded in doing, and he obviously did very well as well, keeping Burnley in the Premier League. But, you know, he's got a particular style, hasn't he? He's a very muck and bullets kind of football manager. He's very much a kind of a relegation scrapper, isn't he? He's a Sam Allardyce style. He's a Neil Warnock-esque manager. Look, I mean, there's reports, you know, that he has a number of suitors, the people that do want to hire him, and I get that. You know, his track record of getting teams out of Championship is pretty decent as well. But for Rangers, I just don't see Dyche as the sort of manager who would do well up here. I just think, like I said, he wouldn't play the type of football that we like to see this club play. He'd play very defensive, dull, boring football, which doesn't really work for Rangers. You know, Rangers have got to be an attacking team. They've got to go after the opposition. You know, to me, he just wouldn't suit Rangers at all. I just don't think his management style suits that. And, you know, it's all very well and good Super Ali talking about, you know, taking him in a heartbeat. I don't get it. I genuinely don't get it with Dyche, you know, especially if you look at the fact that, you know, he at Everton, he had some good players at Everton, and he did appallingly badly with Everton, really badly in that second season. Yet David Moyes has come in and got a much better tune out of the same set of players, and he's doing a whole lot better. You know, and you look at Sean Dyche's win percentages, and I know you can't really base everything on win percentages, but 34% when he was Watford manager, 35% when he was Burnley manager, and 30% when he was Everton manager. You know, in his career, he's actually lost more games than he's won. He's managed 558 games, he's lost 205, he's won 192, so he's actually lost more games than he's won. To me, it would be a really bad move by the club to give him the job. A really, really bad move. And I hope there's no legs in this whatsoever. Guys, let me know your thoughts on the signings, on the possible departure, and also Sean Dyche as Rangers manager. Thank you for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation, guys. As always, on the way out, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And remember always, we are the people.